welcome to Above Replacement Radio. I am your host, Chris Gianta. You know what Christy Mathewson wasn't worried about? SIERA. When you're thinking about Pedro Siriaco, I mean, the only one that can compete is maybe Hannes Wagner's 1908 season. Over there on the other side of the screen is Daniel Curran.
Like, if we just clip together every time we've talked about him on other people's profiles, we've done a Mickey Cochran episode.
I can't get past Rabbit Marinville. It's not necessarily Hall of Fame. It's not necessarily above average, but we can guarantee you we are better than just the standard replacement level college sophomore.
And welcome to Above Replacement Radio, where we're talking baseball kind of whenever. I'm your host, Chris Gianta. Over there across from me is my co-host, as you cannot see on YouTube, unfortunately, Daniel Curran. How you doing, Daniel?
Chris, I'm doing great. It is a big day for the sabermetric community. We've been waiting for it, and the new fWAR dropped today.
Yeah, fWAR was teasing
Yes,
today. Instagram posts, a wild 4/21/22.
Yeah.
With a little StatCast watermark.
Yeah, it's like the album cover, like with the like the tease of the album cover with the date. It's like, Fangraphs was teasing that the whole time. And of course no one really knew what it was, but I mean, wow, what a day.
Yeah, quite the day. Quite the day for us, and part of me kind of hates that maybe this is someone's first episode and first episode listening to us, and we're talking about it's significant to us, but
it's
maybe
such
not.
A niche.
Yeah.
Or niche. I don't know exactly how to say it.
I think either way works there.
Yeah.
But with something, so niche and something that 99% of baseball fans aren't going to notice, but it matters a lot to us.
The funny thing is, I noticed it before the article came out about it this morning.
Yeah.
Like that's how you know it's like peak, what is going on. Like I literally texted you. I was like, I'm pretty sure I texted you before I found out. I was like, there have been some weird changes to fWAR. Like, I'm noticing some weird stuff right now. Or maybe I texted you and was like, I was noticing this, and then Fangraphs just dropped this article. I think that's what I said.
Yeah, that might have been it. And of course you would figure it out before the article came out. But if you go to Fangraphs website, their first article there says a Fangraphs WAR fielding update. A Fangraphs WAR fielding update, and the photo just says site news, and basically the crux of it is the background of it is Fangraphs has used Ultimate Zone Rating, the statistic Ultimate Zone Rating, to evaluate defensive value, basically, which goes into wins above replacement for the website, and now they are not valuing it as much. They're using some components of Ultimate Zone Rating, but mostly using StatCast outs above average, which kind of measures player data more effectively, and using the ARM component of UZR. You have more details on it.
Yeah. You know what's really funny about this is another name for outs above average is fielding runs prevented, which is literally another way of saying defensive runs saved.
Yeah.
It's the same thing with different words, but they're not the same stat at all, and they have very different inputs. But just to explain more, Ultimate Zone Rating is a defensive metric that is primarily used to calculate the defensive portion of Fangraphs wins above replacement, and it consists of range factors, outfield arm, double play conversions. So those are the inputs that go into it. But for the range component of it, which is probably what makes up the biggest part of it, they switched to StatCast outs above average, which was I believe that came out 2.5 years ago or so, 2 years ago. I remember you and I were freshmen in college when that came out. Now we are about to be seniors.
Yeah.
That was a very significant addition to the sabermetric community. This is probably the biggest addition since that stat, and I would even say this one's probably bigger. So I love this for two reasons, and one of them is because a lot of people, the thing that they criticize about Fangraphs position player wins above replacement determination is the fact that they use UZR as their defensive metric of choice. That gets rid of that. Like now, I mean, it doesn't totally get rid of it, but a large part of it is now StatCast outs above average, and it's sort of a combination of both. The second reason I love it is because there's a lot of, there's a lot of discussion about defensive metrics and if they're efficient or not. And I think there's the people that just say there's a lot, like they just don't do anything for me, which is understandable. But then the ultra nerds like us are like, well, there's defensive runs saved and there's outs above average. And I feel like now that we have this, this more universal thing, which has a combination of both, like we don't really have to have that discussion anymore.
Yeah.
I know that defensive runs saved isn't used, but we can really settle for something here.
Yeah, it is pretty significant for sure because there were a lot of conflicting variables with certain players, and I think in this article particularly they delve into those players, and it is great to have a universal thing.
Yes.
Because there were some guys that had negative 12 outs above average, but they would have a UZR of 8 or around there, like a positive 8 with an outs above average of a negative 12. So, and I always kind of lean towards outs above average just because it used more player data, whereas I think UZR and defensive runs saved, it's more kind of in the judgment of the person observing, as Mark Simon kind of pointed out for us, who I think we should probably contact.
Yeah.
Because he is a master of defensive defensive evaluation.
He's our defense correspondent.
Yes, and I'd love to get his opinion on it, even if he's not necessarily more involved with UZR or outs above average, but it would be nice to get his opinion on it. But yeah, it's nice to get rid of those conflicting variables, and I think there are certain players whose I think value is more, what's the word? I don't know if it's determined or more set in stone, I would say. Particularly, in the article it says, Didi Gregorius was the most negatively affected.
Yeah.
Gregorius has overall in the StatCast era negative 74 outs above average, but if you go to Baseball Reference, his DWAR is positive 4.3. So, and I think Baseball Reference and Fangraphs were using similar metrics there. So there was a conflict there, and Marcus Semien and Xander Bogaerts were also particularly negatively affected. And then with positive effects, Nick Ahmed was the most positively affected.
His WAR almost went up by 3 times.
Yeah, it did.
It went from 4.8 to 11.6.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. Or I'm looking at the single season one right now. But yeah, Nick Ahmed, Javier Baez, Ender Inciarte, Adam Engel, and Jonathan Scope all went up 4 wins above replacement since 2016. And yeah, so it's nice to have that. It's nice to have that set in stone, as you said, more universal thing, and it's gonna help us a lot more out. And I wonder if it'll affect contract situations.
That's
at all.
That's the next point I was going to get into, because you mentioned one of the most negatively affected players was Xander Bogaerts, who is a guy that is more than likely going to be a free agent next year. I don't think it's going to make that much of a difference, if any, but it could be an interesting talking point, especially I think this would have been a lot more interesting if this all came out maybe 2 months ago, and he had to go through, actually no, Xander wouldn't have had to go through arbitration, but maybe arbitrators look at it differently if there's a player in there that was, Paul DeJong was one of the most negatively affected players. He's probably someone who isn't an RBer, I'd have to check, but seems about right. I wonder if it came out then that the Cardinals would have been no, actually you're worth way less than we thought because of this. And on the other hand, maybe Adam Engel from the White Sox, who was one of the most positively effective players. Maybe he gets a raise. One thing I'm really taking a look at here is I'm sensing a theme with the players on the largest changes list. I think every single person on this list, or at least like 90% of the people on this list, are either middle infielders or center fielders.
Yeah.
Like Nick Ahmed, shortstop. Ender Inciarte, center fielder. Javier Baez, shortstop. Adam Engel, center fielder, sometimes right fielder. Jonathan Scope, second baseman. Rougned Odor, second baseman. Starlin Castro, second baseman. Francisco Lindor, shortstop. Tim Anderson, shortstop. Guillermo Heredia, center fielder. Jackie Bradley Jr., center fielder. Jake Marisnick, that cheater, center field.
that son of a gun.
Zach Cozart, shortstop. Charlie Blackmon, center fielder. At least he was. Kyle Schwarber is probably the one person, or maybe, Kyle Schwarber, corner outfielder. Xander Bogaerts, shortstop. Justin Upton, corner outfielder. Marcus Semien, shortstop. Or I guess second baseman at parts of times. Paul DeJong, shortstop. Didi Gregorius, shortstop. So, I think there's got to be some positional things that were updated as well.
Yeah, for sure. Those positions are always.
I was going to say, when you're talking range factors, those are the three positions that really come up the most. Right?
Yeah, for sure.
Those are where you're expected to have the most range is second base, shortstop, center field.
Yeah.
And maybe some corner outfield as well.
Yeah, it's interesting to see the difference in both directions, too, because I figure it would be more explicable if it went in one direction.
Yeah.
But the fact that, Nick Ahmed was that underappreciated with fWAR and Didi Gregorius was that overappreciated. It makes me wonder. I mean, we've still barely cracked into the world of defensive evaluation, but this gets us moving forward.
Yeah. I love how one of my favorite things, Nick Ahmed and first of all, if you look at the largest single season changes, Nick Ahmed has 3 of them. His 2018 went from 1.7 wins above replacement to 4, which is a dramatic increase. It's a shame that he got an extension between then and now.
Yeah.
Because possibly he could have got. You could argue he could have gotten more.
Watch him sue.
Yeah, right. But also his 2021, he went from a flat 0 to 1.3. It's that was worth something. Angelton Simmons went from negative 0.5 to 0.8 last year.
Oh, look at him go. Andrelton Simmons getting the respect
he deserves, yeah. Yeah, I really can't believe we just did a whole segment on that. That was a legit segment.
I mean,
if anyone's going to do it, right?
Yeah, I mean, we might have. Nick Ahmed had 35 outs above average in 2018. No.
That's insane. Outs above average has only been around for 5 years. That's probably among the best seasons of all time if it were to have existed from the beginning of time. Maybe Ozzie Smith had 36 one year.
Yeah.
But 35, you have to understand how ridiculous that is.
Yeah, usually the leader is around 20.
Yeah.
He had 35. They must have been adjusted after that, but yeah, overall.
That's so insane though.
Overall, he has 103 in 6 years. I mean, 2020 is one of those years, so more like 5.5.
Uh-huh.
So that's so it makes sense that there is such a difference where Nick, they had Nick, Fangraphs had Nick Ahmed as a great fielder, but StatCast had him as an unbelievable once-in-a-generation fielder.
Yep.
So works out for Nick Ahmed. Shout out to Nick Ahmed. Nice guy.
Absolutely.
Daniel met him once.
I did meet him once. Yeah.
UConn alum and Western Mass native.
Speaking of friends of the program, Tristan Casas hit a grand slam tonight in AAA.
Look at him go.
Yeah.
And
dead center, too.
And Matt Brash had a no-hitter going into the 6th in his last start. So, yeah. And Connor Wong had a go-ahead sac fly.
Facts. Dude, all of our friends are just popping off right now.
Yeah, yes.
Nick Ahmed is retroactively popping off.
Yeah. It took a while, but
When he had that season, he was like, just you guys wait.
Just wait.
Oh, I had 1.7 fWAR.
Yeah.
Just be patient. One day it'll be a generational season.
It's like, Nick, your season ended. It's not going to go up. Okay.
Okay. Imagine if I did an fWAR league in 2018 and I had Nick on, and it's like, hey, let's recount.
You lost by 2.3.
It's like, hey, let's recount here. Let's run that shit back.
Thankfully we're going in 2020. Yeah, thankfully the Springfield League is in 2022.
Well, so that's how I noticed it earlier. I was updating the F4 League, and I remember it was like, I was like, huh, so Byron Buxton didn't play yesterday, and he went up by 0.3? Like, I was like, they must have, like, I said that they must have some input that they only put in, like, every few weeks because it takes a while to track. And then I saw the article. I was like, it all makes sense. Okay, I'm not going crazy. I'm not relying on a stat like this that randomly decides that players that don't play are really good.
So yeah, that's our little segment of nerd news.
Yes. Very important nerd news.
Very important. I mean,
probably the biggest nerd news of the year.
Yeah, and for reference, like, so I believe from 2019 to 2021, Marcus Simeon had the highest position player fWAR, and now he's down to 4th.
Yep.
Because Fangraphs really, pretty overvalued his previously overvalued his defense a good amount.
Oh, didn't Vladimir Guerrero Jr. have the second highest fWAR last year at like 6.6? I'm pretty sure he did.
Now or before?
In 2021, sorry.
But like
before.
I'm
pretty sure when Trey Turner 6.7, Juan Soto and Vlad at 6.6.
Yeah, I think that would make sense.
Because Vlad's at 11th in 2021 now.
Oh wow.
Yeah, being a first baseman probably hurts him because defensive like positional rankings like do really affect it. But the rankings for 2021 now are Fernando Tatis Jr. at 7.3, Juan Soto at 6.8, Trey Turner at 6.8, Brian Reynolds moving up to 4th at 6.5. Oh, you know who's gonna hate that?
Who?
Bob Nutting. He is going to hate that because now he's like Brian Reynolds' worth just skyrocketed up. Like fourth most valuable player by fWAR in the National League and in Major League Baseball.
Right. Yeah.
That's cratzy.
So yeah.
Cedric Mullins was tied for the most valuable player in the American League.
So Vladdy Jr. last year had -3 outs above average. Brian Reynolds had 10.
Yeah.
10,
that'll
which is
do
a
it.
lot.
I'm also glad that we're not going entirely outs above average. Like, someone made a spreadsheet of what OAA would have looked like, and, like, I wasn't a big fan of the ratings. This is a good middle ground, I think.
Yes, because, one of the flaws in outs above average is it doesn't use the arm as well. So someone like Hunter Renfroe, who we saw in our backyard, proverbial backyard with the Red Sox last year, he had I think negative outs above average, but he was much more valuable defensively than that because he was able to get outs on the bases, but they only really factored catch rate or expected catch percentage versus actual catch percentage, but it didn't factor the arm. The combination should work. Yeah, Brian Reynolds had 10. Who else?
Hunter Dozier had -1, full.
Oh wow.
Yeah. He had a tough year. I wonder if Chris Davis's 2018 went down further.
That would be funny.
What was his outs above average that year? Do you think you can check that?
Oh yeah, for sure. I gotta go back to Savant. Chris.
Side note: Mookie Betts now at a 10.6 win season in 2018. Mike Trout had a 9.9.
Ooh. I think Betts went up. I think he was at 10.4 before that.
Something like that. Ooh. What was Chris Davis's outs above average?
It's loading.
Okay. Because I have his 2018 fWAR pulled up.
Oh, just we wait here. The suspense is killing me.
Yeah. Worth noting, he had the lowest fWAR in baseball among the 140 qualifiers by a full run,
That's
by
weird.
a full win.
2018, +2.
Okay. So his fWAR, I don't know what it was before, but let's just say it went up.
Okay.
Went up to -2.7.
Oh, look at him.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know on bWAR it was like -3 or more. Or
I think it
-3
actually
or
was
less.
-3 beforehand because I remember doing a stat about like he had like the worst fWAR in a season since some guy in like the 40s.
Yeah.
Jim Levy. Yep, I remember the name. I don't
on
know
the
why I said
Browns?
some guy. Yep,
Might have been the 33 Browns.
it was the 33. It absolutely was.
Yeah.
Only on ARR can one guy make a reference to a guy in the 30s and the other guy picks up on it completely. Is like, oh yeah, no, Jim Levy, that was the 33 St. Louis Browns.
We are spiraling.
Yeah. Let me just he had a -4 win season in 567 plate appearances. He slashed 195, 237, 240 for a 23 weighted runs created plus. Had a 0.5 defensive runs above average. That's a tough year for Jim Levy.
Yeah.
That would absolutely be the 1933 St. Louis Browns.
I'm looking at them now. 24 OPS plus.
Yeah.
Yeah, the team, I mean, it wasn't as bad as I thought they would be. 55 and 96 and 2.
Okay. Let me check their team stats.
77 OPS plus and 96 ERA plus. So the pitching wasn't god awful.
Well, I mean, when you have a guy like Jim Levy in your offense getting 560 plate appearances, then your offense probably isn't that good.
Yeah.
You definitely don't have any depth.
Yeah, definitely not.
Yeah, they that team slashed 253, 362, 360. So that'd be what like a
362, 360?
Yeah, that'd be a 682 OPS. 682. Which would make for a 76 weighted runs created plus. How many games did you say they played?
Wait, what was the OBP again?
322.
322 plus
360.
And that was in like a very
Actually, that'd be
offensive.
That'd be 782, right?
No.
No.
No, it would be 682. Because
Okay.
3 plus 3.
Yeah. you're right.
But and that was in a very offensive era.
Yes.
In the early 30s.
How many games did you say they played?
They played 55 plus 153.
Do you want to guess their total fWAR for the season?
Position player F4.
Yeah.
I would guess
Keep in mind, it does accumulate.
2.
2.1. 2.1. Yeah. For perspective, the Yankees led the majors with 35.4. The Yankees probably had a better day at some point.
Yeah. Yeah.
Than the St. Louis Browns had in the season. They did have 72 stolen bases, which was second to the Yankees. Actually, no, it was fourth. It was fourth out of 16 teams. So I guess they had that going for them.
Yeah, I guess.
Also, a 360 slugging was not like the worst.
Odd. Very odd. But yeah, shout out to the 1933 Browns and Jim Levy.
There were teams with like lower OBPs and slugging percentages, but the Browns had the lowest weighted runs created plus.
Must have been a park factor thing.
I was gonna say they must have played in a very hitter friendly. They probably played at like a little league field.
Yeah. I wonder how Jim Levy's career would have been affected by Statcast.
Yeah.
Well, we'll never know, unfortunately.
Never know. Yeah.
So yeah.
So that's the stat. It's the Fangraphs wins above replacement update.
Yes. So
I love how like
I don't even know.
Like we waited so long for baseball, like during the lockout in the off season, and once like we get to the season, we're 20 minutes into an episode talking about Jim Levy's 1933 season. Like this is what we should do during the off season.
Yeah. I don't know. It's the beginning of the year, and there haven't been any.
There's not anything to like really weigh into.
Yeah.
Except we're gonna do some of that anyway on this next segment.
Yeah, we're doing a little buy or sell. I know it's the most stereotypical thing you can do in sports radio, but we're gonna do it because there's not too much going on yet so far. No one particularly like going on a surprising streak. And if there's a particular player doing well, we'll highlight them on players to watch anyway, or players to highlight anyway, rather. So, not too much to go into. So we'll do a little buy or sell.
Yeah, we will.
I guess I'll start with my first buy or sell, and I guess I'll give some stats for reference for what he's been doing so far. So this guy has gotten out to a crazy hot start. He's gotten MVP votes a lot in the past, but hasn't gotten them in 2020 or 2021. He's hitting .368. He's leading the league in slugging. Has 5 home runs, and this is heading into Thursday. And a 1337 OPS.
I think I know who you're talking about.
So buy or sell. Nolan Arenado will finish top 5 in the MVP voting.
Top 5. I feel like him finishing top 5. I know that this is such an outdated mindset, and it's one that the writers have kind of gotten away from. But I do feel like it would come back in this scenario. I feel like Nolan Arenado finishing top 5 in National League MVP voting would be synonymous with the Cardinals winning the division.
Yeah.
I just think it makes a lot of sense. It doesn't have to be like that. Like, we've seen plenty of instances where guys that don't make the playoffs or don't win their divisions win MVP or finish top 5, whatever. But I feel like, he came to that team with the expectation of he's the piece that they need to make this team great. And, they didn't win the division last year, and he had a okay-ish season, but not exactly a Nolan Arenado season. But right now, it seems to be legit. I mean, he leads. I believe he leads all position players in fWAR right now. Right now, as in like updated to tonight because he gained 0.1 tonight.
Yeah.
The positional changes benefited him, which is definitely very encouraging. He's always been a pretty good outs above average guy. If I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna buy that.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm gonna buy it.
Nice.
I think, like I said, the positional changes have benefited him. Sophomore season in St. Louis, I think that's gonna be a little kinder to him. Yeah, I'm gonna buy it. Nolan Arenado, top 5 in the MVP voting. Why not?
Right. Yeah. I mean, he's really showed out this year. Like, he had a good year last year, but not a great year.
Yeah.
And we were used to more great years.
Mm-hmm.
What is your buy or sell?
My first one. This is a very I know this is a very easy talking point right now. It's kind of a very stereotypical one to go with. It's a talking point.
Why not?
It's definitely one that we would make fun of, but
yeah.
Let's just talk about it. We have buy or sell. We have already seen Garrett Cole's best season in a Yankee uniform.
That is a good question. I mean, yeah, he was top 5 Cy Young.
He was
both
second
seasons.
last year.
Yes, second last year.
And for context, this year he had 5 walks in 1 2/3 innings pitched in his last outing. In 3 starts, he has a 6.35 ERA and a 6.52 FIP in 11 1/3 innings pitched. 9.5 strikeouts per 9, which would be the lowest he's had since he was in Pittsburgh. 5.6 walks per 9, 2.4 home runs per 9.
Yeah. And I was looking at some stats from last year before the season when I was thinking about like awards and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to just check again to
Sure.
give reference of why I might give an answer. Just going to game logs 2021. It's basically his stats from the memo last year. And I don't mean to be the guy that's like, stereotypical
Yes.
guy of like, you needed a spider tack. But, last year after the memo, he had a 4.15 ERA, a 3.66 FIP, which like 3.66 FIP, that's pretty good.
How much was that impacted by home runs?
19 home runs in 110.
It should
and
show home runs
2/3.
per 9, I think.
Um,
If you like scroll to the right,
hmm.
maybe it doesn't.
Does it do that? I don't think
Okay.
it does.
Still.
I can just 19 times 9 divided by 110.66666. 1.5 home runs per 9.
Not great.
Not great. So yeah, Garrett Cole, when the memo came out on that they were gonna crack down, when the new enforcement came out, he had a 4.15 ERA and a 3.66 FIP. And 2020, you could say 2020 was a very good year for him. 2021 was a very good year for him. And he's heading into his age 31 season.
He has 7 years left on that deal, including this one.
Yeah. I mean, I'll say we've seen his best season in a Yankees uniform. I don't think he'll be bad, but especially FIP wise,
I was gonna say a sub 3 FIP.
A sub 3 FIP is going to be hard to repeat. Maybe he'll have a lower ERA some years, just based on how the ball bounces for him. But yeah, I don't know if he'll be able to match a sub 3 FIP, especially with it is stereotypical to say that the sticky stuff, lack of sticky stuff affected baseball a lot. It didn't affect it as much as we thought, but Garrett Cole was one of the guys where it was 300 RPM difference on his fastball, 400 on his breaking stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So, clearly there was a little bit of an effect, and he's only getting older, and I think being away from Houston where analytics are more, I think, are more present, and the analytics department is more present in that organization, at least from an outside perspective. I think that might affect him a little poorly. So yeah, I think I'll say he's had his best year.
Sure.
In a Yankees uniform.
I think if we're going to go the spider tack route, if there's a time in the Major League Baseball season where you're really going to be affected by not having these substances, it would be April.
Exactly.
And we've never seen Garrett Cole without these substances in the month of April before. Because the memo went out in June last year when it was already warm out, and you kind of just went from there. I don't remember what the temperature was for the wild card game, but he obviously had a rough outing in that one as well. And I would say, don't get me wrong, Garrett Cole's not going to finish the year with a 6.52 FIP.
Yeah, no.
Or anywhere close to that. It'll probably be in the mid threes, if we're being honest. It's still Garrett Cole. But I think April Garrett Cole might be a struggle every single year from now on.
Yeah, it very well could be, for sure. It might be, and it's just, and also, it's just hard. It's hard to pitch in the AL East.
Mm-hmm. Especially right now, 3 of your divisional opponents are very good.
Yeah, exactly, and it's not to really poo-poo Garrett Cole. I mean, he had a very good year last year.
Yeah.
And if that's your best year, maybe it's not maybe that's not fulfilling a $300 million deal, but it's still, it's a very good.
Yeah.
It's a sign of a very good pitcher. But yeah, I'll go ahead and say it. We'll find out in
7 years.
7 years. Yeah.
It'd be very funny if we get to 2028 and it's okay, yeah, it looks like 2021's the best season we saw. Looks like we were right on this one. And then somehow in his 9th year, he just turns in one of the greatest seasons. He pulls out a Bob Gibson 1968 out of nowhere.
Exactly.
He pulls a Tim Keefe 1880.
Yeah. So my second buy or sell, it's about a team that has the worst record in baseball right now. Oh,
go ahead.
Buy or sell, the Reds will finish the worst team in all of baseball.
I will happily buy that. Alternatively, my third buy or sell is the Reds are going to lose 115 games.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, they are 2-11 right now. like they've already gotten in some controversy with the owners like threatening to move or whatever.
No
It
way.
wasn't threatening. I'm sorry, it wasn't threatening to move. It was like they were chanting "Sell the team" at like the team rally on opening day. He was like, "Where are you guys gonna go? Like, if we sell the team, someone else is gonna move it somewhere. Like, you guys should be thankful that you have me," or some stupid stuff like that.
Oh my god.
Anyway, to answer your question, because you asked first, I will buy that the Reds are going to finish with the worst record in the league. Because it's only a matter of time until Tyler Mahle is out. There's only a matter of time until Luis Castillo is out. And anyone that has any substance of a pretty good season to this point is probably on their way out as well. Like, I don't really think, like, I don't know who is untouchable on the Reds right now other than maybe Joey Votto. But even still, like, at this point, I'm like, you know what? Like, put Joey Votto out of his misery
Yeah.
and put him on another team. It's so sad that we've come to that point because this is a team that very really could have competed this year. But you look up and down this roster, like maybe Tyler Stevenson because he's young could be untouchable. Jonathan India, same thing. But like Tommy Pham, like Aristides Aquino, even Nick Senzel at this point, like if these guys are having good seasons in July, like why would they still be on the team?
Yeah, that's a very good point.
Like I'm just looking up and down this team, man. Like these guys aren't good. I mean, okay, Hunter Green's untouchable. I will give you that one 110%. That's the best guy on this team right now, but he can only help you every fifth day.
That's true.
That's the most untouchable player on the team. But I mean, like you look up and down at who's starting games for this team outside of Mahle, like Vladimir Gutierrez, like he's okay-ish.
Got Rookie of the Year votes.
Yeah, he got from Cincinnati Writers. Rivers, I don't know how to pronounce his name. Is it River Riviere San Martin? It's Raver. Okay, Raver San Martin. Like he's struggling. Green, you know, he's given up a lot of home runs, but which is wild. I don't know how the hell anyone hits a home run off him.
Yeah, they just close their eyes and
Yeah.
hope for the best.
Nick Lodolo has, you know, the 12 strikeouts per 9 innings is encouraging. Obviously, also 3 home runs and 5 walks, but I think, you know, he's only 24. Like, that's something that could change. But, like, I look up and down this roster, and all I look at is you're probably gone in July if you're doing well. So, yeah, this team will, in all likelihood. Does the draft lottery start next year?
I forget.
Because there is a draft lottery.
Oh, wow.
And, like, yeah.
Yeah.
It would be really. I mean, it would be poetic justice if this team loses 115 games, and they don't get the number 1 draft pick. Which, not that it really matters in baseball. Like, it probably matters the least in baseball among every one of the 4 major sports.
Mm-hmm.
Because it is the Major League Baseball draft is the biggest crapshoot.
Yeah.
But yes, I do think the Reds will finish. To give a long answer to a short question, yes.
So that leads to your buy or sell question about the Reds.
I was a little more aggressive.
115 games. Yeah, 115 games is aggressive. Given like the last team to do that was the 2018 Orioles.
No, the 2019 Tigers.
Yes. Oh my God, yeah. And the 2019 Tigers, I remember, had the worst.
I think they lost 119.
No, I think it was 47 on 115.
Oh yeah, maybe that was the 03.
Yeah,
Tigers.
maybe. And I remember they had the lowest position player fWAR since the 98 Twins.
Yep.
So it had been...
Yeah, okay, so the 03 Tigers finished 43 and 119.
It had been over 2 decades since
The
a
2019
lineup was that bad.
Tigers.
I think it was 47 and 115.
114.
Oh, 47 and 114.
They must have not played a game.
Yeah.
Let's just say they would have lost that one. It's
Yeah,
easier.
I imagine.
Yeah.
It would make sense.
Why not?
Yeah, 115. I'm not going to say 115. I don't think they'll reach that because
Okay.
I just see a lot of underperformance with the lineup. Joey Votto. I know Mike Moustakas just went on the IL, but like he's also underperforming. And just generally, like I didn't expect them to be like, I don't know where they are in like weighted runs created plus right now, but I imagine it's like bottom 3.
I would imagine they're like bottom 3 in BABIP.
Yeah, and so like I don't think that'll keep going, and therefore they'll be able to win more than 47 games. I don't think they'll win a lot of games.
Yeah.
But I think they'll win more than – because what I'm thinking about right now is like the Diamondbacks 152 last year and the Orioles also 152 last year. So
and the Diamondbacks losing that many was like generationally bad luck.
Yes.
The Reds in weighted runs created plus. Oh, wow. They're at 49. Yeah, no, that's not continuing. They have a 232 BABIP, which actually isn't the worst in the league. The Diamondbacks have a 213, which is also legendarily bad.
Oh, yeah, Cincinnati's dead last in weighted runs created plus at 49.
By a mile, too. The Diamondbacks are at 67, and they're second last. They also have the worst fWAR by a full run plus.
Yeah.
Full win plus, rather.
Yeah, so like they did lose Castellanos and Winker, but they still have Joey Votto, Jonathan India, Mike Moustakas, who's coming back. Tyler Stevenson,
Aquino, dude, he's been terrible.
Yeah, he's. I just remember
it's
all about first impressions.
I was gonna say he's still in August 2019 form, right?
Yeah, yeah. But so I think the run production will be better. I would buy maybe that. Yeah, they could be the worst team in baseball, but they'll have they'll have less than 115 losses, which is pretty low bar. I'm still not optimistic about them. All right.
I guess you can go again then.
So my third buy or sell, it's about a guy who peripherally has been fantastic. Also with run prevention, he's been very good. But peripherally fantastic. As of today, I believe, I think it's updated, has a .72 FIP, 22 strikeouts, no walks, no home runs in, I think, 18 2/3 innings pitched. Today he
I know what you're talking about.
went 8+ innings, 1 run allowed, 8 strikeouts, no walks. Kevin Gausman buy or sell, Kevin Gausman will be a Cy Young finalist.
Cy Young finalist. So, when you look up and down the American League right now, you have some of the best pitchers in the AL. Most of the best pitchers have just been in the NL.
Yeah.
Currently,
we had Dylan Cease winning Cy Young before the year started.
Dylan Cease, and he hasn't broken his promise. Let me look at just who do we have in the National League or in the American League. Sorry, Kevin Gausman does lead the American League in pitcher fWAR.
His biggest competition, it seems, right now is like Shane Bieber.
Yeah, maybe Shohei Ohtani.
Yeah, possibly. Imagine.
He does have 16.33 strikeouts per 9. That's absurd. I already bought the other two, so I was thinking maybe I'll make a case to sell, but I put one on the tee too much. I was gonna say I find it hard to believe that at this point he can't be a Cy Young finalist. He's doing legitimately everything right, except for the balls in play that he's giving up. But what's his expected ERA? What are the batted balls he's given up? Because he has a 4.12 BABIP against even after his great start today against the Red Sox. Gausman. Oh my God, the Mariners blew a 5-0 lead. Wow. 100th percentile chase rate. Wow. I guess it was 92nd percentile last year, but he's given up a lot of hard contact. His exit velocity against is 91.9 miles per hour. Launch angle is 11.3, which is around where it was last year. The strikeouts and the walks are great. The BABIP has been bad, but obviously it hasn't been deserving of a 4.12 BABIP against, but it's not like he's just given up soft hits all the time.
Yeah.
A lot of the hits that are falling are genuine hits.
Oh my God. Heading into today, his line drive rate against is 48.4%.
Yeah. So.
But still.
It's understandable why some of those are falling for hits.
Yeah.
By the end of the year, is he a Cy Young finalist?
Who's third in the Cy Young last year? It was Ray, Cole, and I forget who.
I'm drawing a blank as well. I'm gonna look it up real quick.
Because no one was voting for the third guy.
Yeah, no. I mean,
Well,
was Evaldi finished 4th?
Yeah,
Was it like
it wasn't Evaldi.
Montas or something like that? No, it couldn't have been Montas. It was. Oh, it was Lance Lynn, who is hurt. Yeah, it definitely doesn't help that he's hurt for sure.
Yeah, Giolito's hurt, I think, right?
I'm gonna buy it.
Yeah.
Why not? Yeah, finalist. Fair enough. I mean, like that. Like obviously, a 48% line drive weight is not sustainable at all. I don't know what it's at right now after his start today, but yeah, no, I will say that. Yeah, he's gonna be a finalist.
Right. Yeah, very understandable. I feel like that one might have been the easiest one to buy on. All right, the last buy or sell of the evening.
Yes, I still have another one because I went 1-2-3-2. This one is also about a starting pitcher that has been performing very well. Buy or sell. Carlos Rodon is currently a top 5 starter in the league. For reference, this season he has pitched 17 innings. He has 15.35 strikeouts per 9, 3.18 walks per 9, 0 home runs, a 1.06 ERA, 0.9 FIP. If you look at his game logs, they're just the most beautiful thing ever. I'm going to pull it up real quick because his game logs are just magnificent. Like, start for start, I don't think anyone in the majors has been better. Like, I know Kevin Gausman does his better peripherals, but those line drives are happening. But Rodon, like, is probably all around the best starting pitcher of this year so far. I mean, let me just go into this real quick. Obviously, it's a matter of if he stays healthy, but that's not really the question. First start, 5 innings, 3 hits, 1 earned run, 2 walks, 12 strikeouts. Second start, 7 innings pitched, 2 hits, 1 earned run, 2 walks, 9 strikeouts. And the third, probably the weakest outing he had, 5 innings pitched, 3 hits, no earned runs, 2 walks, 8 strikeouts. Which is still average. He has an average game score of 70, which is fantastic. Top 5 starter in baseball right now.
Yeah, I mean, that's a tough question. I mean, by right now, does that mean next start? Does that mean for the rest of the season?
I'd say just if you were to make a starting pitcher power ranking right now, like not of this year alone, because obviously top 5 is not. Like right now, like assuming like Jacob deGrom can also be considered.
Oh, with deGrom.
Yeah.
I mean, I mean, you have like Burns and deGrom are up there. Wheeler too. Although, like, yeah, none of the guys, none of the Cy Young finalists from last year are really doing too hot this year, outside of like Scherzer, who finished 3rd. But yeah, I should look at the pitcher fWAR leaders right now, because like there are some guys who I would have been like definitely above Rodon, but guys who are like kind of underperforming, in their 2 or 3 starts so far this year. So yeah, I mean, like I might have Rodon above like a guy like Robbie Ray right now. I'll have Scherzer above him. Him and Logan Webb are like pretty tight, on the same team also, but like, tight in contention. Brandon Woodruff is up there. It's a tough question, but like it's hard to deny how dominant he's been in these 3 starts.
Like it's been unbelievably consistent too.
And yeah, exactly. And we know what San Francisco can have been able to do to guys over the past 3-4 years. It's tough. It's tough. I would still sell. I'd give it like maybe 3 or 4 more starts before
But he's on the verge.
But before I'd really consider. But yeah, like I should look at the percentages here. A 44.6% strikeout rate is it's pretty eye-popping.
Mm-hmm.
A 35.4% K minus walk ratio or K minus walk percentage.
Yeah.
That's pretty eye-popping. And yeah, if he keeps it up for 3-4 more starts, I think I might have him up there. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
But so I sold in the last two. What was the first one?
Garrett Cole's best season.
Oh yeah,
Bought on that.
okay. So
we have 4 buys and 2 sells in total.
All right. So we got that.
Yeah.
Decent profit margin.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, all right. So now we go on to the part we've most prepared for. Players to highlight, whether they're doing good or bad right now. And we'll start with players or subjects that have been doing very well as of late with our April 22, 2022 edition of... How about that? Who do you got for us today?
So, Chris, this is one of your guys. I can't remember if you put him down this year, but I know you had him as a player to watch in the past. It is Logan Gilbert.
Oh, yeah, I had him twice.
You did have him this year.
I had him before. Shit. Yeah, I had him before he ever made an MLB start, and he never pitched that year.
Well, now I feel bad. But
no, I appreciate it.
Yeah. In 16 2/3 innings pitched, Logan Gilbert currently has a 0.54 ERA and a 2.74 FIP. He leads all American League starters in K to walk ratio with 15. A 15 K to walk ratio. Nobody else has more than 7 in the AL. So his K to walk ratio is more than double the next best in the American League. Of the 47 batted balls he has given up, 17 of them have gone to the opposite field. That is a 36.2% percentage of batted balls going to the opposite field. That is the 8th highest of the 118 pitchers with at least 25 batted balls allowed, that 36.2% rate. And you might be wondering why all of these batted balls are going to the opposite field. He only had a 25% rate last year, so that's an 11% increase. All batted balls to the opposite field against him have a slugging percentage of 294. So when he's getting it to the opposite field, it's efficient. And listen to this. The average pitch velocity on his slider from 2021 to 2022 went from 83.4% to 86.1%. That is nearly a 3 mile an hour increase.
Miles per hour.
Yeah. I said percent.
Yeah.
83.4 miles per hour to 86.1 miles per hour. That is nearly a 3 mile per hour increase.
That's crazy.
His changeup, and by the way, these are pitches that he throws like pretty consistently. All of the ones I'm about to mention. His changeup average velocity went from 79.9 miles per hour to 85.5 miles per hour. That is absurd. That is not like that. I don't know what happened that caused that. That isn't usual.
Yeah. I wonder if that's a good thing or a bad thing.
I mean, I will tell you. And his curveball velocity went from 74.8% to 79.7%. Or miles per hour, sorry. I keep saying percent. I'm used to saying percent. But either way, almost a 5 mile an hour increase on his curveball. And of the 15 batted balls he's had on those 3 pitches, 46.7% of them have gone the other way. 7 out of 15. And that is the second highest rate among the 129 pitchers with at least 10 batted balls on those 3 specific pitches: slider, changeup, curveball.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Logan is
Logan Gilbert.
Oh, this app froze.
It's unfortunate. Oh no, your phone froze entirely.
I got Logan Gilbert. He already is a guy who usually has a good strikeout to walk ratio, and his increase in velocity and his off-speed pitches.
Very funny because his fastball velocity is virtually the same.
Yeah, odd. Yeah, what's his average fastball velocity? Does it say?
I can check real quick. I'm not on his page. I'm on Kevin Cosman's page. Logan Gilbert. I know it didn't increase much at all from 2021. It went from, this is only through 3 starts, so this is probably, I don't know how sustainable it is. Oh, that's pitch percent. That's not what I'm looking at. 95.3% to 95.2%. It's the same. 95%. 95 miles an hour. That's what I meant. I keep saying percent instead of miles per hour. I need to not do that.
So I guess a 95 mile per hour fastball to an 85 mile per hour changeup. That's a good difference.
Yeah.
It might be better than a 15 mile per hour difference because maybe that's too slow. Because when you said the changeup increased 5 miles per hour, I was like, huh.
He throws it 7% of the time in both seasons, so it's not like he's using it a ton. But still, like it's not like it was like he threw it 3 times.
Right.
And he threw it like 6 times. Like it's a reasonably. How many changeups has he thrown this year? 19. Like that's and that's not like batted balls. That's like every single one is averaging a significant increase in velocity.
Yeah, I know.
85.5 miles an hour.
I know definitely the slider is a pitch that pitchers definitely want to have faster, and changeup it depends, I guess.
Yes.
And then curveball it kind of depends too.
Mm-hmm.
But it's working out for him.
Yeah,
0.54 ERA.
Mm-hmm.
My player to highlight is we really went to town on this team last year, so it's good to have a player to a how about that for this team. I'm going with Jurickson Profar, who heading into Thursday was hitting 256 with a 1003 OPS. However, he's getting unlucky also. He has a 214 BABIP, and his heading into Thursday, his ex-WOBA was higher than his WOBA. Last year, he had good strikeout and walk rates last year, 15.8% strikeout rate and 11.9% walk rate, which are both, the strikeout rate was below average and the walk rate was above average. However, he struggled because of his quality of contact. Last year, he was in the 3rd percentile in average exit velocity, and this year, he is in the 68th percentile, so 3rd percentile to 68th percentile. He has increased his average exit velocity 5.5 miles per hour from 2021 to 2022 so far, which is the 3rd largest positive difference out of 176 qualifiers on the year-to-year changes on average exit velocity. Along with that, his barrel rate has gone from 2.7% to 12.5%. And what's funny with Jurickson Profar is he already has as many home runs as he did last year. 4.
And he played 137 games last year.
He already has as many, so he's definitely making some improvements. And along with that, he is in the 92nd percentile in chase rate. And at least heading into Thursday and also heading into Thursday, had a 16.3% walk rate while only having, a 16.3% strikeout rate. So Jurickson Profar seeing the ball well, getting some hard contact, barreling up the ball, getting some home runs, and he is my...
How about that?
Yes, he is.
Yeah.
I love that, A, you're highlighting a Padre because they had so many slightly alarming last year. B, I love that you're highlighting Jurickson Profar because that's a guy who, among like the nerdy baseball fans like us, doesn't have the greatest legacy. Like, if you think of Jurickson Profar, you think of, remember how good the Rangers were supposed to be with him?
Yeah. Yeah, he was supposed to be. Yeah,
like he was
fantastic prospect.
He was the consensus number 1 prospect between Baseball America, MLB Pipeline, and Baseball Prospectus pre-2013. All 3 sites had him at number 1, and didn't exactly work out in Texas, but it's good to see that he might be finding a home in San Diego.
Yeah. It's working out so far this year. So now we go from the highs to the lows where we're talking about players or subjects that have been underperforming in our April 22nd, 2022 edition of...
Slightly alarming.
Who do you got for us today?
So my slightly alarming is someone who, at this point last season, could have been considered for a how about that. I don't know if we actually used him or not, but I remember him having a very good April. I'm looking at Carson Kelly, who has been struggling for the Diamondbacks. After going 0 for 3 tonight against the Nationals, he is slashing 063, 118, 094, 212 for a negative 39 weighted runs created plus. That is the worst among the 258 hitters with at least 30 plate appearances this season. He is in the first percentile in xWOBA, strikeout rate, expected batting average, third percentile in expected slugging, 9th percentile in sprint speed, 13th percentile in walk rate, and 15th percentile in whiff rate. He's doing just about everything the worst you can really do it. He also has the highest increase from 2021 to 22 in strikeout rate. It has gone up 21.3%, and he has the second highest decrease in walk rate, minus 9.1. His walk rate has almost gone down by double digits. So he's going in the complete wrong direction in the strikeout to walk ratio department. He isn't hitting the ball well, and that's Carson Kelly.
Carson Kelly.
Slightly alarming.
My slightly alarming. I don't know if it's unfair because he's a rookie, but had some very high expectations. Consensus number 1 prospect in all of baseball. Bobby Witt Jr. So far this season, hitting 146 with a 454 OPS. His expected slugging is in the 2nd percentile, and his expected WOBA is in the 1st percentile, and also his chase rate is in the 4th percentile. And that leads him to having a strikeout rate over 30% and a walk rate of 2.5%. At least I think that includes this Thursday when he actually hit a double. So this kind of helped him out. But yeah, Bobby Witt Jr. Not a whole lot of numbers, at least thus far in the season. Sometimes it gets hard to get too analytical, but yeah, Bobby Witt Jr. not the greatest start. But I think we've kind of seen that with a lot of rookies.
I was gonna say, this is nothing to really get concerned about.
Yeah, we call it slightly alarming for a reason, folks.
Yes, we do.
But Bobby Witt Jr. so far,
Slightly alarming.
Very slightly.
Yeah, much slight. So yeah, that does it for players to highlight, and now we will get into a preview of the weekend ahead. That's correct. First time this year.
Yes, it is the weekend ahead because we only did one show last week.
Yes, that's correct. And yeah, I'm looking at some series right now. So yeah, I usually talk about series to watch, just general team matchups. Daniel goes with the day-by-day matchups with pitchers, pitchers for the most part. And the series I'm looking at Friday through Sunday. There's 3 pretty good ones, I would say. You got Phillies Brewers at Citizens Bank Park. Phillies have gotten off to a somewhat underwhelming start at 5-8. Could potentially turn that around against the defending National League Central champion Brewers. Then and then also down in Houston, we have a matchup of 2 of my projected division winners with the Houston Astros. Oh my God. I saw very thrown off.
Chris, there's a spider behind you. A Cleveland spider. It's below you now. It's on the wall. I don't know where it went, but it was there.
Well, as long as it doesn't bother us. As long as it's minding its own business.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I see.
There's the Cleveland spider. Chris just stomped on it.
No, it's not a spider.
Oh, looks like a spider.
I don't think it's...
No, it's definitely not a spider. It's not behaving like one. It's like flying around on the ceiling and stuff.
To give a play-by-play, we're here live.
It's been an interesting couple of seconds here.
Yeah.
In the radio studio.
We had 4 people that we know pretty well walk by. It's 11:55 p.m. April
Yes.
21st, 2022. We have a flying spider-like object.
Spider-like object. It's like flu-like symptoms.
Yeah,
Spider-like.
Spider-like insect flying around. Doesn't appear to be poisonous. Doesn't appear to be really harmful. Any form of harmful.
No.
Yeah, but yeah. So anyway, what was I talking about? I was talking about the 2 teams that I have projected as division winners this year. Houston Astros against the Toronto Blue Jays, who just took 2 out of 3 from Boston. 2 out of 3 from Boston. And yeah, so that'll be in Houston. That should be a very good matchup. 2 very good lineups going at it, and 2, I would say, pretty good rotations going at it as well. And then the last series to watch is a series where we didn't appreciate as much in the second half of last year, but it's still very good competition, and I expect, one of the teams to, do better than they did, especially in the second half last year. Padres-Dodgers. That's going to be a good matchup.
Yep. Anytime they faced off, it was a intriguing one.
It was very intriguing, especially in the first half of the year. So I don't think we should expect much different this time around. So, if maybe.
I mean, how is that? I mean, I guess the Padres were just there last week, but how is that not the Sunday night matchup?
Maybe
probably because the Padres were just on it.
So it's 3 different time zones. So it's 7. You got Phillies
zones.
Brewers.
Oh yeah.
At 8 you got Astros Blue Jays, and at 9:40 you got Padres Dodgers. But I'm sure that some of them will be day games on Saturday and Sunday.
Yeah.
What's Sunday night baseball this week? Phillies Brewers. Okay, makes sense. Day by day matchups. What do you got?
So day by day, we're gonna start with Friday. You got in Cardinals Reds. You have Steven Matz, who did pretty well last time out against the Brewers, and it's Green Day. It's Green Day on the Reds.
Green Day.
I'm colorblind. That's my worst nightmare. Dude, seriously, Green pitching for the Reds, like,
yeah,
that's too much for my colorblind.
It's very festive.
Brain to
I'll tell you
handle.
that.
It's very, yes. Yeah. You have Jameson Taillon going for the Yankees against the Guardians. I think this is a sneaky good matchup. Like, A, because it's 2 pitchers that I think are very under the radar, and B, because it's just a rare matchup. Rockies versus Tigers. You have Antonio Senzatella facing Tarek Skubal.
Right, yeah. Antonio Senzatella, interesting guy, like low strikeout, pitch to contact guy, but can be very effective.
Yeah.
And Tarek Skubal, he's emerging.
Also, please watch Rockies Tigers this weekend for Miguel Cabrera.
Yes.
He is at 2,999 career hits. That spider has not moved in like 3 minutes.
Yeah, I don't know. Seems to be minding. I said as long as it minds its own
I was
business.
going to say, it's just vibing. You have a nice throwback matchup in Red Sox Rays. You have Michael Wacha going against Corey Kluber.
Yeah. Great 2014 matchup.
This is a sneaky good matchup as well. Trevor Rogers versus Kyle Wright in Marlins Braves. Kyle Wright was very good in his last start.
Kyle Wright looks unrecognizable, like not physically, but pitching wise. Like I didn't know his stuff was that good.
Yeah, like hold on, I want to get his line from his last time out, but computer is not exactly responding right now. Okay, I'll just say in 2 starts he's pitched 11 innings, given up 2 earned runs, 1 walk, 15 strikeouts, no home runs. That is a 1.64 ERA and a 15 strikeout to walk ratio. That's pretty fantastic. So it looks like the breakout could finally be happening for him. That would be huge for the Braves if it's true. And he's going to be facing Trevor Rogers, who had a very opposite outing his last time out. In Astros Blue Jays, I feel like if anyone else is pitching for the Blue Jays, this would be matchup of the night. But we have Ross Stripling versus Justin Verlander. Anyone else, that's matchup of the night. In White Sox Twins, you have Michael Kopech versus Bailey Ober. One of my players to watch. In Orioles, it feels weird putting the Orioles like an Orioles starter on, hey, this guy's pitching, but he was very good last time out. Bruce Zimmerman shut down the Nestor Cortez had 15 strikeouts, and I believe Bruce Zimmerman ended up being the pitcher on the winning team in that game. He will be facing Reed Detmers. Zach Gallen will be pitching for the Diamondbacks against the Mets. Julio Urias versus Nick Martinez. I still have to remind myself that Nick Martinez is on a multi-year deal with the Padres.
A 4-year deal.
A 4-year deal. Absurd.
Got more years than Scherzer. I mean, I know the age is different.
Yeah.
But
Chris Flexen will be pitching for the Mariners against the Royals at home. And matchup of the night comes from Brewers and Phillies in Philadelphia. Freddie Peralta versus Ranger Suarez. Two very different types of effective pitchers. Also, this is just hilarious. So Ranger Suarez has 4 plate appearances versus people currently on the Brewers roster. Do you want to guess his FIP?
is it like? It's got to be either like 17 or like -3.
It's negative 16.8.
No way.
But the average against is, or the WOBA against is 618. So it might be like
3 strikeouts and a double.
Well, it's a 25% strikeout rate, so I think it's 3 hits and a strikeout that are non-home runs.
Oh my God! Wow,
Yeah, that's funny. Moving into Saturday now, April 23rd. You have. Waiting for Savant to load. It is just past midnight here, by the way. It is now officially Friday, so I just announced today's games.
I think this might be the latest we've gone, outside of maybe the History Series. Maybe when we did those.
Yeah, we did have some late History Series ones, didn't we? Anyway, on Saturday, you have Alex Wood facing the Nationals in Nats Park. You have Nestor Cortez in his first outing since the 12 strikeouts? It was 12 strikeouts, I think. I don't know why I said 15.
I think it was 5 innings, so maybe the 5 got in the head.
Yeah. You will have not a lot of great matchups. Might save that one. You have Frankie Montas going for the A's against the Rangers. The A's might, since it's a Saturday game, the A's might get like 5,000 fans. Packed house at the Coliseum.
That would be pretty big.
Tyler Mahle will be pitching against Dakota Hudson. Unfortunately, it will be in Cincinnati, so he will give up 5 earned runs.
Yeah.
This is an interesting matchup. Alek Manoah versus Jose Urquidy.
Yeah.
That's a cool one. I might save that for matchup of the night. Yeah, I'm going to say that for matchup of the night. In Brewers Phillies, you have Adrian Hauser versus Zach Wheeler. It's very funny because Zach Wheeler is like the number 5 guy in their rotation because he was hurt for a little bit at the end of spring training. You have Yu Darvish going against the Dodgers, a lot of unannounced pitchers. Spencer Watkins versus Noah Syndergaard, 2 guys that did very well their last time out. It's fun, like, at the early point of the season where it's like this guy had 1 or 2 good starts, so I have to mention him. But like if he had 2 random good starts in August, I'd still be like, eh.
Yeah.
It's also going to be Brash Day. Mariners, Royals in Seattle. Matt Brash will be pitching against Chris Bubich. Matchup of the night comes from Marlins, Braves. 2 young guys throwing against each other, Eliza Hernandez and Ian Anderson.
Yeah.
It's going to be an interesting one just for like 2 very similar types of young pitchers, same division, guys that could be facing each other for a while to come. So that will be a fun one. And then on Sunday, the last day of the weekend, you will have Tyler Anderson pitching for the Tigers, who's all right. You'll have Shane McClanahan pitching for the Rays against the Red Sox. Logan Webb will be facing the Nationals. Jesus Luzardo will be facing the Braves in that finale. I don't know what matchup of the night is. I need to real quick. I have not actually taken a close look at this day. None of these matchups really look that. I guess that's matchup of the night. Okay, going forward, Aaron Savali and Garrett Cole will be facing each other in Guardians Yankees. Adam Wainwright and Nick Lodolo will be facing each other. I'm sure you'll see some stat about how old like Nick Lodolo was when Adam Wainwright made his major league debut.
Yep. Put it in the books.
Yeah, put it in the books. Yusei Kikuchi will be facing Luis Garcia in the Astros. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh,
Astros,
yeah.
Luis Garcia.
Yes. Not the Padres reliever or National second baseman.
No. Justin Steele will be facing the Pirates against JT Brubaker at Wrigley for Pirates Cubs. Tyler McGill and Madison Bumgarner will be facing each other.
Interesting.
That's matchup of the night. Robbie Ray will be facing the Royals for the Mariners. The Sunday night matchup, Eric Lauer versus Aaron Nola. And the matchup of the night comes from Dodgers-Padres because we had to get them in there at some point. Clayton Kershaw versus Sean Manaea.
Yeah.
It's a good matchup. Clayton Kershaw, start for start, probably the best pitcher this year. 47% K minus walk rate.
No. Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty wild.
Yeah. When does Roki Sasaki pitch?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, outside of Major League Baseball. Roki Sasaki.
When does the next time he pitches? I don't know if it's listed anywhere, but he hasn't given up a base runner yet, so that's pretty cool. In 17 innings pitched.
Right.
So yeah, I think that's everything from me.
Sounds good. We hope you enjoyed this one. If you want to follow us on social media, follow me on Twitter at Chris_Gianta. Follow Daniel on both Twitter and Instagram at Daniel_Curran. And follow the show Instagram at Above Replacement Radio. For all the show needs, we hope you enjoyed this one. I liked it. It was pretty tangent based.
It was.
We
talked about Jim Levy.
Yeah, we went pretty all over it's good when we're talking about the 1933 St. Louis Browns.
100%.
We're going in the correct direction. So we hope you enjoyed this one, and we hope to see you next time. Probably Monday. Probably Monday. Where we will be talking all the happenings in Major League Baseball once again. See you then.
That spider still hasn't moved.
This conversation is over.